Alright guys, so today I'm going to teach you about the importance of investing, and that I think it's very important that all of us should start this. So I'll first teach you the rule of 72. What is the rule of 72? It'll show you how long it'll take for your money to double in value based on a fixed percentage each year. Alright, so for example, I'll give you a scenario. You're given two choices. Which would you choose? You get $1 million now, or you get 1 cent now, but it doubles every day for 30 days. Which would you choose?
The 1 million.
You want the 1 million now? All right, I'll show you what happens with the 1 cent when it doubles every day. So if you choose 1 cent, your money will be worth $5 million on day 30. That's huge. That's 4 times bigger than the first option. Why is that? Well, here's a visual of your money doubling every day. So 1 cent. Day 2, it doubles to 2 cents. Day 3 to 4 cents. But then on day 10, it's at around $5. On day 16, $300. Day 27, $335,000. And it's until the 28th day till you reach $1 million. And then in just 2 days later, $5 million. That's the power of compound interest. So I'll show you how you can apply it to your life so that your money can start growing over time, which will help protect you against inflation. And inflation is actually a silent killer to wealth. When you do this, you will be able to achieve your financial goals. You'll be able to retire early, for example, so that you can stop working at an early age. You could potentially buy a house sooner, or you'll just be able to sleep well at night, knowing that your investment is up in value. So what do we do with our money? Sometimes we might have some extra money from work. But what do we do with it? We typically spend it all on random stuff, or we put it into a savings account with the bank. Now, the question is, what does the bank do for us when we give them our money? They use our money to invest for themselves while giving us nothing. That's not really fair on our side now, is it? Now, sometimes they do offer a high-yield savings account. This is where you store your money with them, and they can give you 4% interest per year on that account. It's better than nothing. For example, you give the bank $1,000, and within a year, you'll get $40,000. You'll still keep your $1,000, plus you'll get $40 by the end of the year. So that's totaling $1,040. That's 4%. Imagine if you can get more than 4%. Because we still have to consider inflation. And again, inflation is a silent killer to wealth. It is when prices of everything becomes expensive. Food prices, house prices, and fuel. They only get more expensive. For example, if you take a look at Milo, 1 kilogram, 2020, it used to cost on average 342 pesos. But now today, it's 365. It increased by 6% within those 5 years. That's all right. But if you take a look at sardines, 155 grams, it used to cost 17 pesos in 2020. But 5 years later, in 2025, it's up 26 pesos. That's almost 50%. And it's even worse for certain products. If you want to create true wealth, you need to beat the rate of inflation. Now let's talk about the banks. The banks don't just let your money sit there idle. They actually use your money to invest in assets. So here's your money, and you give it to the bank. And then the bank uses it to buy assets like Apple stock, McDonald's, Google, Tesla, Nvidia. Meanwhile, you only get 4% from the high yield savings account. Or if you don't have a bank or you don't have anything coming from the bank, you get nothing. That's not really fair on our side, is it? So here's where the rule of 72 comes in. Rather than putting your money in a bank and then the bank uses it to invest in assets, you cut out the middleman. And instead, you invest the money on assets yourself. So here's an example. This is $2,000. Your money will double on the year 24. It'll double to $4,000. This is only at 3%, by the way. So 72 divided by 3 equals pretty much, yeah, that's how you figure out how to double your money. 24 years later, your $4,000 doubles again to $8,000 by the year 48. Now, that's not very good because it's $8,000, it's not enough. You're still broke at this point. You can't even afford a nice car with that. Now, what happens when we put our money into an asset that appreciates 6% per year? It doubles to 12 years. So that $2,000 goes to $4,000. 12 years later, $8,000. Another 12 years later, $16,000. And then another 12 years later, $32,000. Now, we can all agree that's a lot better than the first option, right? But it's not good enough either. $32,000 is the same amount of money anyone can make in America on average. But what happens when we put it on a 12% interest per year? Just look at that. By the year 48, you'll have $500,000 in your investment. So by putting your money in a high interest account, it can double much faster than that 3 to 6%. This is an incredible amount of money, all because we cut out the middleman. We cut out the bank. We made money work for us by putting it into assets. And here's a timeline of someone who doesn't invest. Every time you work, you trade your time and energy for money. Meanwhile, inflation is robbing you of your freedom, resulting in you never getting ahead in life. For example, at this stage, Gen Zs, it's going to be very difficult for them to buy a house because houses have appreciated in value so much than when our grandparents bought their houses. And here's a timeline of someone who does invest. You work a job, you trade your time and energy for money, but you invest it and put your money to work. You beat inflation. Working harder has limits, but investing breaks that cycle. You can escape the time-money trap, and then you become more free. When you invest, you are basically trading bad money for good money. Bad money depreciates in value due to inflation, but good money, they appreciate in value due to higher interest rates. So it makes sense to invest in an asset that provides the highest interests. And what's the asset that can provide you the highest rate of returns? Does anyone know? Here's the requirements. It needs to be scarce. It needs to be fixed in supply. It cannot be manipulated in numbers. It needs to be decentralized and borderless. It cannot be controlled by central authorities like the government and banks. Everyone can access it 24/7. It doesn't discriminate. And it needs to have high growth potential. It's got to be the best performing asset of the past decade as it becomes more globally adopted. And that asset is Bitcoin. At this point, it can provide you on average 60% per year in interest. Realistically, it's gone up 100% in the last 2 years, like each year, so 200%. So here's the rule of 72 on a 60% average annual rate. Look at this. In just 2 years, you double your $2,000. 2 years later, it's at $5,000. 10 years later, $85,000. And in just 14 years, you're at $500,000. And then 2 years later, on 16th year, over 1 million. And it just gets crazier as the year goes on. Look at this. It'll take you 36 years to reach 1 trillion just from that $2,000 investment. Now here's a metric, a chart showing you house prices measured in Bitcoin. What you're looking at right now is the green line here. That's the average house price in the US. In 2010, it used to cost $169,000. But in 2025, the average house cost is now worth $400,000. That's how much you have to pay for a house. But by looking at the blue line, which is Bitcoin, it has only appreciated in value over the years. And as a result, house prices go down in value. In other words, if you save in Bitcoin, houses will only get cheaper over time. Meanwhile, if you save in fiat currencies like the US dollar or the Filipino pesos, houses will only get more expensive. And here's another metric, the S&P 500. This is the US stock, 500 of the best US stocks in the world. The S&P 500 is trending to zero against Bitcoin. It's the same thing for every other asset classes, including gold, including every other fiat currencies. What do these charts mean? It means life gets harder when you save in fiat currencies, US dollars, British pounds, Filipino pesos. But if you save in Bitcoin, life only gets cheaper. So here's an action plan. Whenever you have extra money on the side, rather than wasting it on pointless stuff that's keeping you poor, invest it. But not just in any assets. There are thousands of assets out there. Which one should you choose? You invest in the best asset known to humanity. There is no second best. It is Bitcoin. And here's what I use personally to invest in Bitcoin. You can use Stripe to buy Bitcoin. And here's just my, don't see this as a flex, but it's just my credential. By investing, it has helped me buy my first property in 2025, and I have achieved a portfolio that reached 100% return on investment within a year. Now, 100% is very unrealistic, but this company, do you know what this company does? So since I showed you that Bitcoin is the best asset in the world, what beats Bitcoin? What's better than Bitcoin? More Bitcoin, exactly. And that's what this company is doing. They are buying a bunch of Bitcoin and never selling. And as a result, they give me 2 times the returns of Bitcoin. It's a stock though, not a crypto. Yeah, and that's it. Any questions? Thank you.
Can you explain the rule of 72 again?
All right, so the rule of 72.
Why is it rule of 72?
All right, so
Dahil naka-divide sa 72 lahat,
yeah, so it's a way for you to
computation niya 72.
measure how you can double. So if you have 72 divided by 3, it's going to take you 24 years. So if you put it on a calculator,
72 divided by 3,
24.
yeah, it's 24.
24.
That's how long it'll take you to double your money if you have 3%. if you have 12%, go ahead, 72 divided by 12, it's going to take you 6 years to keep doubling your money. But with Bitcoin, on average, it's 60%. So if you put 72 divided by 60,
70 divided by 60.
yeah,
1.2.
1.2, yeah, just under 2 years. That's what Bitcoin does. It's the best performing asset year over year.
Years talaga yun, years talaga yun.
Yeah, every year. And any other questions?
Kaysa may scam kayo, di sa Bitcoin na.
Yan, nagpapag-scam sila.
Ayan yung yung mga nagmamalaking dumoble daw ang pera. Tapos biglang wala nang balik pag nag-invest
A lot sooner, yeah.
How to start?
You can start by downloading the app Strike. It's the app that I use to buy Bitcoin.
This one.
Strike, it looks like it, yeah.
Strike is available.
It is available in Philippines, yeah.
You know, it's right.
Ano, IB, yun na lang. Ito, striking disease.
Otherwise, if you want to invest in stocks, you can use whatever brokerage that's available in UK. I don't personally know what is available in Philippines, sorry.
Paano i-download tayo Strike niya?
Just go on the Google Store or Apple Store and you'll find Strike.
Parang ano yan parang first time back.
Ilang years ka nang kasama dyan?
So I've been investing in if you're talking about Bitcoin, I've been investing it since 2021.
2021
Yeah. However, if you're talking about this stock, just over a year. So this is the 1 year chart. And you can see here, I started here, just under 1 year. And in just 1 year's time, it's given me that return, 107.
How much did you invest in the first year?
Well, I dollar cost average, so I kept investing throughout the months. And in total, I put what's double this? 67. 30, yeah,
34,000.
yeah, around 34,000, yeah. So, yeah, MicroStrategy is a Bitcoin proxy. It follows the price of Bitcoin because this company only buys Bitcoin and they never sell. And as a result, they give me 2 times the returns of what Bitcoin gives me.
What can you advise with the young savers?
Okay, so when you're saving, you wanna,
Invest as young as you can.
yeah, invest as young as you can, but
As you can.
you also have to take in consideration what you're spending. So if it's on unnecessary stuff that you don't need, ask yourself this. This is what I do. Every time I buy something quite expensive, I give myself 7 days before I actually buy it. And after 7 days is up, oftentimes I find myself not wanting it anymore. Right? So it reduces the hype around, oh, I want this right away. But then it also helps you think clearer after 7 days. Yeah, I mean, you can only do this really if you have extra money on the side. If you have expenses to pay, then you should probably prioritize that. But because I grew up with my parents living at home, I had very little expenses, which means I had a lot more to invest. If I was to live by myself, I would have to pay the bills and groceries, and it would prevent me from investing a lot in this. But by living with parents and having some sort of income coming in, I can put a lot more into my investments.
about
What's the average salary in average salary? 500. Depende sa per month.
Yeah, it depends on the province, the city.
10,000 pesos.
So if you have 10,000, I think for me, I apply the 50-30-20 rule, which is 50% goes to my expenses, 50% goes to my bills, the food,
And 10, 10,
my
70
mortgage, and then 30% I save straight away, and then the rest of the money that I have, the 30% I invest.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I consider saving. And then I live on 20% per month. This is the best way for you as young people to save.
Dapat kontrolin niyo rin yung
Can you tell
expenses.
about saving for the young one? Are you familiar with the 10, 10, 10, 70?
I think Ate Joan is more familiar with that.
Yung guys na,
Meron din siyang ano ng saving eh. Did you prepare for the first slide regarding saving?
Ang savings kasi, hindi
No.
advisable mag-save kasi
hindi
bangko.
nga, oo.
Hindi niya nga
Kasi
invest,
6% lang ang
Sa assets nga.
Yeah, because if you put your money in a savings account in the bank, it doesn't do anything for you. The bank just uses your money while you gain nothing.
But this young, the young one, like, they don't really understand the call.
Tapos yung pera mo, pinapautang, ini-invest din nila sa mga Bitcoin, sa Tesla, sa McDonald's. Kaya ang balik sa kanila sa bangko, ngayon, yung pera mong ginamit nila, bigyan ka na lang 6%, which is napakababa.
Hindi nga 4% na lang.
Ay, 4%.
on average, yeah. But you also have to take
Hanggang 4%.
Diba? Baba.
yeah, and you also have to take in consideration inflation, and inflation is when prices of everything goes up. So that 4% that you get from the bank isn't enough to beat inflation. You need something more, and the best financial vehicle that can give you that is what I mentioned, Bitcoin.
Baka hindi pa nila naintindihan kung ano ang inflation.
What is inflation, guys?
Pagtaas ng mga bilihin, kung ano-ano.
Yeah, there you go. You got it.
Babago yung ano, economy.
Bago yung economy.
Pero ang sahod,
Hindi tumataas.
Yeah, that's right. So everything goes up faster than your income. And as a result, as the generation continues, the younger people who are born now will find it a lot harder to buy a house, to buy anything really. So in order to protect yourself from that, you gotta invest. The sooner, the better.
Kung may parents kayong sumusuporta sa inyo, meron kayong allowance, tabi niyo yung pag-pay, yun ang savings.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
Kasi mas mabata, mas maaga, mas maganda. Saka kontrolin niyo yung gastos niyo.
Ang sabi ko nga kanina, kung after 24 years, ilang taon na, or 45 years na, buhay pa kaya.
Yeah, we have to take into consideration that.
Huwag kayo mag-invest sa ano yung productivity na sinabi, after 1 month, meron kayong 30%.
Yeah, so you have to be careful.
At saka ano, hindi sila
Sinabihan ko na siya, babawian siya noon, nag-invest pa ulit.
hindi sila registered yun.
Yeah, you have to be careful because there's a lot of other cryptocurrencies out there that isn't Bitcoin. And every other altcoins, like Ethereum, XRP, they're not the same as Bitcoin. They are not decentralized and globally adopted like Bitcoin is. They are more controlled. They're like a private company.
Ano kung ibig sabihin ng Bitcoin legit yan, legit.
It is, yes. Even in the US, they made it available for US retirement funds, insurance companies to buy Bitcoin. And you could pretty much, yeah, it's legit.
Naglalakaw po yan, Clyde.
Yeah.
Ang ano ngayon, ang Bitcoin, ina-accept ng pambili ng mga bahay, pambili ng sasakyan,
Yeah, Clyde, how much one Bitcoin?
One Bitcoin today is worth 100,000 US dollars. That's how much it's gone up so much. It is pretty much at an all-time high, but when you compare it with other asset classes, such as real estate, it's very low. I don't have the chart with me here, but the market cap, so when a lot of money is pooled into that asset, the market cap for Bitcoin is $2 trillion, but the market cap for real estate is $350 trillion. So 2 versus 350 trillion, it's very low. Bitcoin is still at an early stage compared to real estate, compared to bonds. Bonds are pretty much government debt, and they are also very big, $300 trillion.
Did you say Stripe is a way for you to buy Bitcoin straight, like
Yeah.
directly?
Yeah,
That's
What about-
legit app, yeah. legit.
it is, yeah.
What about an investment app like Trading 212?
Trading 212, which is the one I use to invest in stocks, isn't available in Philippines. So you're gonna have to try find a legit broker that you can invest in stocks. But Coinbase should work, yeah. I think Coinbase works here. Coinbase is another one similar to Strike. The only difference is Coinbase promotes altcoins. So Ethereum, XRP, they are not the same as Bitcoin. Whereas Strike, they only have Bitcoin available in their platform. Yeah.
Tanongin niyo na kung ilan ang Bitcoin ni Kuya Clyde.
Unfortunately, I don't own enough Bitcoin. That's the safest way to say, yeah, you got some Bitcoin, but you're not willing to reveal it. Because there's instances where people revealed how much Bitcoin they have, and as a result, they get kidnapped. Their family members get kidnapped looking for extortions. So never reveal how much Bitcoin you own. Yeah, because when you own Bitcoin, you hold it in a hardware wallet. You're self-custodying it. So no bank is holding it for you. No company is holding it for you. You hold it yourself. Yeah, and that's why people kidnap, those type of investors whenever they reveal they have this amount of Bitcoin.
What about, can you withdraw Bitcoins to use for you when you need it?
Yeah, you can. So what you can do is when you buy Bitcoin through Strike, you can leave it there for maybe a year. And when there's an emergency, 1 year later, you should see Bitcoin, your money appreciate in value within 1 or 2 years' time. And you can always convert it into Filipino pesos.
Ano na guys? Ano pa? Question? Go.
Pag may Bitcoin si Wally, hindi ka pala sasabihin sa akin kung ilan.
Pag natuto sila,
Ganun mo yung password niya.
kasi yung app na yan, yung Stripe, nakikita mo yan every minute gusto mo, anywhere, basta may data ka, checkin mo lang kung nakita mo tumataas. Napapansin mo siya.
Dapat si Tito Mujaw ang inulis mo dyan. Para hindi siya na, tinuro sa amin mo.
Why, he taught something like that?
Yan ay scam si Tito.
Oh, really? What happened?
Ano yung
Oh.
platform nila mo?
Ano na nga yun, be?
Sitaw.
Yeah.
What is it about? Like, what did he put his money into?
Kasi, mag-invest ka din, tapos kikita yung pera mo bongga.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta be careful with apps like that in Philippines. I can only recommend the ones that's legit, and Strike is the legit one that I use.
In Chinese, parang kwan siya dito, Shopee. Pero ikaw mismo i-invest mo, tapos o-order sila. Kikita ka lang. Hintayin mong mabili bago pumasok.
Yung Stripe na lang.
Pero kailangan pala ng ID. Kailangan ng ID sa bayan.
You wanna invest in stocks? Yeah, it's possible. However, you'll need to find the most legit stock, brokerage. So it can't be a scam.
Yung the stocks, the bank
Okay, so the bank uses like they don't have the same ones that we can use. It's very specific how the bank uses to invest. So we're given apps like Trading 212. That's for me. You'll have to find similar apps like that.
Oh, I just like if you're gonna upload yung Stripe and you want to buy Coinbase now,
Yeah.
kailangan mo ng bank details to transfer online or
Yeah, you kind of have to have a bank account.
can we use GCash?
I don't know if it's available in Strike.
Can you check?
Invest ka through GCash.
Through GCash.
Stripe.
Yung, kumbaga, yung pera.
Does it have account number?
I'm not too sure if it's available.
Meron? They should be able to.
May crypto rin kasi sa GCash eh.
Ha?
Buti kung magkaganon po sila.
Hindi, lahat naman pwede sa GCash. Ang tanong, kung yung strikes, allowed sila.
Kaya nga.
Kasi may sarili ng Bitcoin na GCash.
Opo, meron rin doon. Crypto sila, crypto.
Do you earn interest on Do you earn interest on GCash?
Yeah.
0.4.
Pwede.
0.4.
Strike?
Ang baba naman, 0.4.
Do they like pay you every month?
Save ako sa Maya.
0.4. Yeah.
You know Maya app?
My app.
Maya.
Maya app.
Baka pwede kumuha doon ng pera dahil sa Stripe.
Kasi sa Maya, mas ako sa isang buwan.
100 plus.
Oo. Basta nag-plus ng 6%. Basta nag-ganyan din.
Meron kang ano, nag-invest ka doon sa Maya.
Ay, sinisave ko lang cash.
Is this the Maya app you're referring to?
Yes, that's I'm using.
Anong interest naman?
Dati kasi yung
Mataas nga din siya.
Oh, it's a bank.
Legit.
A legit bank.
Yes. I experienced like 6%.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you could use if they can open up a Maya bank account, you should be able to invest in Bitcoin through Strike.
Kung meron kang Maya account, baka Maya.
Maya, mas maganda, mas
It just has to be a legit bank here in Philippines.
Para ipasok mo sa Stripe.
Pwede.
Check na natin.
Find a legit investment.
Parang GCash yun. Pwede daw yan.
This one is what we use, Trading 212.
Hindi ako Stripe. Be,
So this
pag
is
bibili ka ng ano,
price of
Bitcoin, you open up your Stripe, di ba?
Yeah.
Bibili ako, it will directly to the bank.
Yeah. So
Meron bang Maya sa Stripe?
if it's a bank, yeah, you should be able to do it. They provide you a like a sort code and account number, and all you gotta do is go to your bank account and send it to that sort code. Is it not?
Ang Maya pa,
At least
mobile-
that's what
mobile
you
number
use.
din.
Opo.
Baka yung mobile number ang ano yung bank account number.
Right. Yeah. Maybe it depends on which country. If Strike is available in Philippines, then you should have things
May pwede siguro.
specifically made for the Philippine banking.
Tingnan mo nga sa Maya lang kung merong strike.
Ano ba? Bank ba yun?
Transfer Maya and strike.
Sa Maya may Bitcoin din.
May Bitcoin kahit sa Gcash or Bitcoin.
Crypto lang sa GCash.
Baka ang ano kasi, yung GCash, ang GCash kasi, baka hindi lang Bitcoin ang meron sila, may Ethereum, pero ang Strike kasi Bitcoin lang sila talaga. Wala nang iba. Doon lang sila nagko-concentrate sa Bitcoin. Wala silang
Wala sa
Ethereum.
ibang connection, basta
Bitcoin lang talaga sila.
They understand that every other altcoins,
Maraming Coinbase eh.
Yeah.
Maraming
crypto, yeah,
Ethereum, ano.
yeah, a lot of cryptocurrencies are scams, unfortunately, and it puts a bad rep to Bitcoin because people who don't understand Bitcoin will just categorize Bitcoin as crypto as all the other scams. But when you compare every altcoins to Bitcoin, it's gonna be the same thing as the house price. It just goes down in value over the years.
Alam niyo na. Pag nag-strike kayo, magtatanong yata ng ano
Yeah,
Para open kayo ng
yeah.
69. 69 years old pag plus 24 years. May tutod na ako eh.
Minsan ginagawa ni Clyde, ginagamit ng bangko. Nag-apply siya ng credit card. Is okay?
Yeah, so that's an advanced way of investing. I don't recommend this for any of you.
Huwag yung gamitin yung
But because we live in UK and America, they're built on credit. The roads you see, the buildings in the cities, they've all been built upon future money, borrowed money. And since they're able to do that with buildings, why not do it with Bitcoin, since it's the best performing asset every year? And that's pretty much what I've done with credit cards. There's a 0% interest. So I'm not paying any interest on this debt for a fixed amount of time, 21 months. That's free interest.
gagamitin niya yung
Yeah. So I use future money to invest in Bitcoin because I know in 1 year's time it's going to go up in value. I don't want to miss it. I don't want to be too late in it.
May ganun ba dito pa? Credit card?
Mayroon mag-apply ng credit.
12 months or 2 years interest rate.
Yeah, so I don't recommend any of you doing that because it does require, yeah, exactly. If you go jobless, it's over. Yeah. So you really gotta have a backup plan.
Ang gawin na lang niya, maglagay kayo ng galing sa sahod niyo, mga 5%. 10%.
Yeah, the safest
Bawasan mo.
The safest way to invest is just use your own money, the one you make from your job.
Tanggalin niyo yung pagbili ng soft drinks. Out of your
Pero kung sure ka naman kung sa pag-investan mo, kumamit ka ng credit card. So,
All in.
kung kikitain mo yun, ng mas higit pa yung magagastos mo. Pwede.
Ganun nga ginawa niya, di ba?
Are you live? You are? Oh. Because I just got a friend request.
Ang bangko dito pag nag-loan ka sa video,
Shall I shout you
5 years,
whoever's watching?
pag pabayaran mo ng 2 years time lahat.
George.
Pabayaran mo pa ng interest ng 5 years.
Is it? You know
Yung
it.
5,000 ko sa
Hello,
bangko,
Johnny. Got your invite. I'll add you as a
0.01
friend.
man na, walang nadagdag.
Napunta sa
Doon
interest
sa
mo.
Maya po, meron na akong 200, gano'n.
Oo. Diba?
Pero sa bangko, walang nadagdag.
Mga estudyante, alam mo na.
500 kada allowance.
Huwag lang magsosoft drinks muna.
Para hindi sumaba.
Para di mag-diabetes.
Well, the way I see it, if you can't invest now, then investing in Bitcoin is only for those who have a need to know. So what that means is, if it's not necessary for you right now, you don't have to invest in it. But when time is right, maybe your whole world is crashing down and you want to make a change in your life, maybe you want to earn a little more, you can start investing. It's only for those who have a need to know.
Pilitin ko wala talaga.
Baka bukas paututin na ako ng Bitcoin. Ay, ng pang-invest ng Bitcoin.
Minsan eh, pag nanliligaw, ayos eh. Huwag muna ngayon.
And the time is right.
After 6 months, ulitin mo ulit. Sagutin ka na.
Yeah? All right. Thanks for listening. You've been a great audience. Thanks.
May tanong pa kayo, guys?
It's all right. You can ask me later whenever you're ready. You can watch a movie now.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Ano?